Welcome to Motivation and Muscle, the podcast that connects your brain to your brawn.
Okay, this is Douglas Graham, reporter for Motivation and Muscle, the podcast that's streaming 24/7 in your ears. I'm here with an absolute legend of grip. That is Frank Ciavatonne.
Thank you very much. Don't hurt me.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure.
Sorry to say, I don't know enough about you other than I know you're a legend. And we spoke a little earlier today. I know this man, on a whim, got a bus, jumped off of the bus in 1996, was it?
96, correct.
96, got off the bus, lifted the dinnies side by side. Not only did he lift them side by side, but he took the heaviest dinny in his weakest hand, which I believe to date has still never been done.
None.
And then hops on a bus and buggers off again, just like that, in the pissing rain, or in the pouring rain, sorry.
You got that right. Absolutely.
Which adds weight to something that we believe here, which is, you don't have to get ready if you can always be ready, which is also an AFM, Art of Functional Movement, one of our mottos there as well.
Right.
Another organisation I'm involved with, and we believe that 100%, so it's good to be sitting beside a man that is the epitome of that, which cannot be measured more than being able to hop off a bus and lift those dinnies.
Thank you very much.
All right, so please elaborate for me, tell me something about yourself, a little bit more of your story through strength sports and the grip sports as well.
Okay, I started training like when I was 13, 14, 1968, 1969. I started competing in 1970. I did Olympic style lifting for a while.
All right.
And as an adolescent, I remember my father coming home he was an excavator like myself, and they'd come home with these big concrete blocks they used to build drainage manholes.
Right.
They weighed about 40, 45 pounds a piece. And I remember they were in our backyard all the time. I would be out there playing, and I'd walk over to move one, and I'd go with one hand and pick it up and move it. And he'd come out and he'd do that again. And I says, okay, and I did it again. He'd bring men home from work to see me do it, because no one could do it. No adult could do it.
I know the blocks you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've worked in
They're
construction.
round,
Yeah. We call them breeze blocks here.
Yes. So he ended up, so that was the beginning of knowing I had some sort of a gift. And then when I was like 15, everyone wanted to arm wrestle me, and I didn't want to arm wrestle, but people would get me upset. So I ended up arm wrestling, and I beat everybody. And then one day my father says, do you mind going to the American Legion, which is a veterans organization? After they retire, you be a veteran, they go to a club.
Okay, yeah.
And they have, drink or whatever. And they always had arm wrestling on Friday night. He goes, I want you to come. And so I went there, and I'm watching them arm wrestling. The guy that always wanted to arm wrestle, he starts laughing like, this is a joke, I'm going to bury him. And so I went and arm wrestled, and I went, boom, I put him down. And he was like mad, real mad. Yeah. He goes, I'll do lefty. I did lefty. I put him down. So after I did it, he was so mad. I said to my father, take me home. I'm not, I didn't want to do this, but I knew then that things were clicking in, the grip. Then around 1978, I was at a New England Strongest Man competition in Connecticut. That's part of New England, one of the states.
Okay.
And one of the lifts was the one-arm deadlift. Never did one.
Something I'm working on myself just now, so I'll maybe ask you for some tips.
Absolutely. I can tell you what to do. Well, we're there, and there was two heavyweights that were going to start with 300 pounds. Well, they both missed it. So I said, well, I'll take 300. I did it easy. I put it down. They said, what are you going to take next? I said, I'll take 350. So they went to 300. They missed it again. Then they both made it on the third time. But on my third attempt, the second time I did the 350. So they said, what do you want to do for your fourth attempt? I says, everyone's yelling, 400, 400. Says, I guess I'm doing 400. I went out and I did it in the front style too, which is harder.
Oh, the front style?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the place went crazy. When I did it on the way home from that competition, which was about a 2-hour drive to Boston, I had pains in my stomach. I actually did that lift, and I had cancer then. I didn't know it. That lift brought me to go to the hospital because it pressed my abdominal muscles into the tumor.
Okay.
because it's on the right side, which they call the silent side. You don't feel it. I felt it, and it was terrible pain. That's the one-arm deadlift saved my life, because I wouldn't be here today. If I didn't do that lift, it might have just kept growing and growing and went beyond any return, and I wouldn't be here talking to you today. So that was my start in the one-arm deadlift. That was 1978. Up till, and then in 1930, I mean not 1930, 1989, they started the all-around lifting association throughout the world.
Yeah.
Europe's, all the UK's in it and everything. So the first competition they had was in Philadelphia, the World Championships. It was actually the second, but it was the real first that everyone came, because the first one was in London.
Okay.
And I was invited to go, but I couldn't go because of some personal reason. So anyways, when I lifted at the Philadelphia, one of the lifts was the one-arm deadlift. And I did good. I mean, I did my 3 attempts. I did 402. But don't forget, we were doing 10 lifts in 2 days. So you had to pace yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot
But
of lifts.
everyone went crazy when I did the 402. So I said, geez, I got something going on here. I got to work on. And, keep going on. So I ended up going every meet after that. I kept working my one-arm deadlift. And in 1991, I did 500 in New York City at the Downtown Athletic Club. That's where I met Dave Webster. A lot of old-time strongmen. It was a banquet, like a Hall of Fame type of banquet. And I did the feat of strength. I did a 500-pound in the front with a power bar, which has no spring, and a sticker. So the place went crazy. So then, to make a long story short, by the time I got to 50 years old, I kept getting better. I did 562 and a half pounds when I was 50 years old.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I did 485 pounds with my left hand, which is unheard of. Most people only do one side. They don't really do a lot with the other side. And my left side was at that time was still more than anyone did with the right side. So I had the best left and right. And then they named a lift after me called the Ciavatonne lift, which is a thumbless deadlift. Not a thumbless deadlift, but you can't hook grip.
Right. Yeah.
So if you grab an Olympic bar, it's like a regular grip. You can't go like that.
You can't hook under it.
And I have the highest left hand ever done with 314, and I got the highest right hand ever done with 352. And there's only one other man in the world right now. He's from Finland, Timo.
Oh, Timo, yes.
Timo's done 3-0.
Witnessed him in person.
I think 303 or 308 with his left hand. He's lefty. So him and I are the only ones over 300.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he's like one of my best friends.
Yeah, he's
He's
phenomenal.
Poor guy got sick, he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt. I saw that. I was there to witness him doing, I think it was 110 kilos, just the middle fingers at one of the Iowa meets.
Yeah.
Truly phenomenal.
He's a great, and he's a great person too.
Yeah.
He's not a boaster. He's not I can do this or I can do that.
No.
He's like me. We only talk like that, like say in front of you because you're interested in what we have to say. I wouldn't go to probably half these guys here. I wouldn't tell anything to because they think you're showing off.
Yeah.
So,
listen, it's important that these stories are told.
Right.
And that's what we want to do with Motivation Muscle. We get all this information out, all the old knowledge especially.
Right.
Because there's nothing really new.
Right.
Most of and certainly
as
for
old as
me
anything.
personally,
Yeah.
most of the stuff that works has been done over and over.
100 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Only some slight changes
Slight
here and
change.
there, like the infamous Jack Shanks when he altered slightly his hook grip, if I remember rightly. He switched up the hook grip for the rings.
right, he went like this.
Yeah, he moved
Instead
it
of
over.
like this, he kind of brought it in. Like,
Shifted it over to fit the rings, which is quite phenomenal. I've been working on an adapted version of that
That's awesome.
myself as well.
Right.
Interestingly, just while I've got you here, I find just now with my single arm deadlifts are stronger on the left, which is supposedly my weak side, than my right. Any ideas why that might be?
Are you doing Ciavatonne style or with a hook?
Ciavatonne style. Open. That's how I would quite like to lift the dinnies. You've heard that here first.
A lot of times, I've done Ciavatonne. I've done more with my left hand, and I'm righty, because during the week or work, I might have used my right hand a lot, and it brought my poundage down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I would never lose sleep over it. You know, I'd say, oh, that's what it is. I did this, I did that. Okay, that explains it. And your left arm sometimes is always pretty much rested up, ready to go.
Yeah.
But
I wasn't sure if it's how I was setting my feet on that side or what.
No, I don't. It sounds like you know what you're doing, and I would just say, be conscious. Be conscious of it next time you train. Say you want to do a left-hand Ciavatonne with a record. You during the week, you'd kind of like not baby around, but like not do as many curls or do this or do that with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thank you for your knowledge.
Thank you.
I would definitely like to ask you more about the gathering and what it means to you to be here personally. How did you come to be here, apart from anything else?
I got invited about 2 years ago. Steve asked me to come and introduce himself and who he was, and now his dad was the first stone lifter, and I ended up corresponding with him a lot because he had a lot of information. I never realized until I actually talked to him that I was the number 5 man, out of in the world, lifting him, and I was all alone in lifting him. Everyone else has done them in clumps.
Yeah.
Like even Jack Shanks, Sid Seshman, I think his name is, Sedman, and Jim Splain. They did it within 72, 73.
Yeah.
Then there was nothing done from 73 to 96, and then I did it, and then there was nothing done until like 98 or 99, but that was the era that it came back. So I was alone, so I had no fanfare. But Jack and Jim and Stevie told me, they said, Frank, you're the first one to actually lift him, getting off the bus, walking over him without a warm-up and lifting him.
Yeah, and just doing it.
Just doing it. You're the first one to use your feet
say,
together.
You might say you did it Donald Dinny style.
Right. That's right. That's true.
Yeah, well, that's how it was for him,
It sure was.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then I think I was the first one to do it with my feet together. I was the first one from out of the UK. I was the first one from America, both Americas, South and North America. I never trained for it. I tell people, well, you never trained for it. I trained for it because I did one-arm deadlifts, but I never knew I was coming to Scotland to compete in the World Championships, that I was actually going to go to the lifted any stones. That was never in my head.
So how did it come about then that you ended up getting a bus out to the middle of nowhere to lift these magical stones?
We lifted in the Worlds in Glasgow in '96 in October. Back then, the World Championships had 2 days lifting, 5 lifts each day. The second lift of the second day, the fifth lift of the second day was the one-arm deadlift. And I was actually sick through the competition. I'm not ashamed to say it, I have depression. I had severe depression. The time flight,
as I like to say, point to me someone that's never had depression by a certain age and I'll point to you a liar.
That's right, you're right. You're absolutely right. So he ended up...
That's how we deal.
That's right. So I wasn't feeling good. I didn't feel good physically and I didn't feel good mentally. And I took my lifts up to the one-arm deadlift in moderation. I didn't do what Frank would normally do, but I did enough that everyone was like, wow, that's great. So when the one-arm deadlift came, I was conservative. I started with 352 in the one-arm deadlift, which was... It was more than anyone else. I think the highest person after that was Steve Angel did around that.
Ah, right,
Steve's a great guy. Well, Steve's in the corner. And he got word that day that his dad passed away, and he was competing. So he goes, Frank, do me a favor. And he goes, I want you to break a world record for my dad for me. And I says, what do you want me to do? He goes, I want you to do over 500 pounds. And at that point, I did 440. You know, that was my second attempt. So I says, tell them 500 pounds. So they gave me 230 kilos, which is 507. You couldn't hear a pin. You could hear a pin drop when I walked up. When I was ready to go start, I lift it. The place went. Steve Angel himself. He's like, "Come on, Frank! Come on, Frank!" Everyone's screaming. I don't know what happened, but I walked out. I put my feet down. I grabbed the bar. Put my hand here, and just like a hydraulic pump. I stood there like this. I put my hand aside. I smiled. And everyone went crazy. They said, "Put it down," and I went nice and easy. Put it down the way I picked it up. I broke the world record. So I was off the wall to myself too. So I'm sitting there. The banquet's tonight. We're gonna be it was like at a castle. So we all go to the banquet. It's about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. Everyone's having a great time. You know how it is at those banquets. Comradeship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's drinking. All of a sudden, the announcer goes, I'd like to announce that tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock, the bus is going to leave. Anyone that wants to go up to Aberdeen to watch Frank Ciavatonne lift the Dinny Stones, be ready to be on the bus at boarding at 5 o'clock. And I'm turning around and saying to myself, when was someone going to tell me about this? And I knew of the Dinny Stones, but I didn't know dimensions. I didn't know what they weighed. All I knew was Jack Shanks lifted them, and Jim Splain lifted them. And I knew they trained hard to do them. You know, Jack and Jim both told me, Frank, what you did is amazing because we trained a year to do them. So I says, so they said, you gonna go? I laughed. I said, yeah, I'll go. You know. So we did what's the John from Glasgow? They had John to about 4 or 5 hours.
2.5 to 3 hours it took.
Well, we had a woman driver.
Different roads then as well.
Right. We had a woman driver, very nice woman. And I didn't believe she really drank much of ever drove much of a standard because she kept popping the clutch all the time. We had a big, huge van, which was around here, it was big. Back in the States, it wouldn't have been big, but it was a good-sized van. And everyone had to keep stopping to go to the bathroom. So it took us probably 4 hours. Yeah. So we get here. It's foggy out. The mist was in the air.
Nice moisture.
Yeah, we get off the bus. Everyone's there. Willie Wright and a few of the referees took me over to see the Stones, and I looked at them and I said, "Who can lift these things?" You know, kidding around. And they says, "Give it a go, Frank. Whenever you're ready." So I says, "All right." So they're all around now. Now it's starting to rain, and they got the umbrellas out. Yeah. I go to I checked the steel loops. And they hadn't been touched. I can't tell you how long because when I grabbed them, the rust, my hand looked like they were bleeding. It was like that layer of rust on steel. It was totally covered.
Just recently, I had to clean off.
You had to clean it. You had to clean it off. Now it's the moisture is getting at it, from the mist. And I said, "Does anyone have chalk?" So I brought a little piece of chalk. I said, I get the chalk. It was like it wouldn't have fit my quarter.
The grooves.
So I ended up getting I put my hand in the dirt. I rubbed my hands around like this. When I got my hands dry enough, I walked up, and I had to grab the right stone. The heavy one was my right hand. And all the people are saying,
"Facing the wrong way."
You turn, Frank. We don't want to take a picture of your butt. Kidding around. So turn around. So I turn around, and I'm laughing. I bend down. I grab the handle. Boom. I grab this handle. I had my feet like this, and I just went, stood up with it, and everyone's like, "Wow!" And the head referee says, "Okay, Frank, you can put it down." I smiled. I said, "Thank you," and I went. I tenderly put them down on the ground, not like you see today. Everybody dropping them and stuff.
There was one or two that put them down nice and soft, but the majority of them were just like.
That's the way I did it, and they went crazy, and it started to pour. So they all said, "We're going to get on the bus, Frank. This is okay." So I says, give me a couple of minutes. So I got my gear and I walked around the building and I had a private moment with myself, you know, because I was very touched that I accomplished something, especially battling cancer. And I didn't do drugs. I never took drugs in my life. You know, only drugs for medicine reasons, like, you know.
Real strength, real power, real people.
And I cried and I said, I am someone, because Jack and Jim told me this weekend while I was with them. They said, you know, Frank, about a month before you did that, three of the world's strongest men come from one of the world's strongest men was held in Scotland somewhere. They all come to lift him. He said all three of them failed, and you know all three of them. You know what I mean? They were, and I was like, that really, really hit home after that, because I was a kid from Boston that didn't take drugs, wasn't in the world's strongest man contest, had a lot of world records. Got off the bus, went to the Stones, picked them up, put them down, and went on his way. You know, I did my job.
Absolutely.
Now, I've had people today or something. Jack Shanks and Jim both think I could have walked with them, like probably the whole way.
I dare say you could have, yeah.
But I says, I don't think I would have tried it, because first of all, I'm self-employed excavator like your dad. You know, we're in equipment. I says, and I had 4 children, and at that time, they were children. You know, like I'm talking about 12, 10, 8, 6. You know, and there's no way in the world I would jeopardize for other people's pleasure to walk with someone and break my knee or something just for that. I don't care if they gave me $1 million. You know, I wouldn't. And the thing for holding them and walking one was not even talked about back then.
No.
Not even talked about. And I'm so glad I'm not in that era, because I think both of them are not the greatest thing to do, because every single one of these guys today has cuts in their hands.
Some of them get tore up.
When I lifted Stones, I had no cuts. No. My hands were fine when I got done.
Chalk.
Yeah.
It pulls in the hand, the skin.
Yeah.
There was some nasty lacerations from them today. That's what someone in the crowd said. Oh, his hands all cut. That's the rings that have torn them. Yeah. Oh no, but it's pissing blood, they said. I was like, yeah, it's the rings that have torn them.
That's right.
Like, that's like...
If it tears the skin off of a finger, and the next time you go up and try it with tape on it, it's going to take that next layer you got there.
Yep.
Then the third time you're going to try, before you know, you're going to be down to your ligament and tendons. Because one of them guys was pretty deep.
Yeah, Brett Nickel.
Yes.
Brett Nickel, he just kept going back, I believe.
He's loaded with energy.
He has
he's a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, a word on Brett
He
Nickel,
really put a lot of power in everyone else.
He did.
But
there seemed to be something up with his grip today, because with his first lift, they was just like bang, they were going up, and then he just slipped out.
I was refereeing.
That's right.
And he just about was ready to go off the ground, and he dropped it.
Yeah, it was the strangest thing.
But I give him a lot of credit for helping everybody.
He's one of the most prolific dinny lifters in Scotland,
Yeah.
I believe. Like, I would quite like to have got a word with him, but there's always time to speak to all these legends.
Right.
They're not going anywhere in a hurry. But yeah, he is one of the more prolific guys. We know that he can lift those stones for breakfast.
Right.
Even Stevie Shanks, you know.
Yep.
Stevie, I don't think he performed the way he wanted to today.
No, but he's burnt out a little bit.
Absolutely.
He's been driving me, doing things for me. Like he's always taking us part of it. He's not like not selfish. You know what I mean? So, come on, Frank, let's do this. Frank, other people would be like, I can't do this. I gotta concentrate what I'm doing here. He didn't.
No, he's been wonderful.
He hasn't had one moment in 2 days that he really was thinking about his lifts.
Yeah. Well, they've claimed many a victim today.
I see some pretty big guys that didn't move them. And I was like, my girlfriend, Colleen, she was like, I really look at what you did in another perspective now.
Yeah.
She says, you get to see it,
It really does.
See 300 or 400 pound guys can't move them.
Absolutely. They are a formidable force.
And yet they're good in other sports too. They might be Highland Games, they might be a power lifter, they might be this, a strongman sport. But those stones can play havoc on you.
Well, that's one of the beautiful thing about natural stones, is
Right.
they're a very different animal, aren't they?
Yeah.
A very different animal
Sure.
altogether. Right, well, I think we'll end it there, Frank.
Okay.
I'll let you get away. I'm sure people are waiting on you. I think Stevie's his
Yeah,
backpack and everything. So
yeah, we're just going to go over and eat.
yeah, so we'll let all you guys go and enjoy the rest of your day. We will leave you in peace.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. I'll speak to a couple of lads, but yep, no, we will let you guys go and revel in the success that has been the gathering too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time,
gentlemen.
It was an absolute pleasure.
You too.
To speak to a legend
You too.
like you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure and an honour. Right.
Make me